Hey, and welcome back to your third video entitled The Kiss Technique. In just a minute, I'm going to show you the well-guarded technique that will reveal a step-by-step process and a way to get any woman to kiss you. And if you want to walk up to a girl tonight and magically have the power to flip her sort of kiss me switch, even though you've just met her, then you'll know exactly what to say to get her to snap into daydreaming about kissing you. You'll know the subtle signal that reveals with 100% certainty that it's working. And you'll use a proven method that I only teach my one-on-one clients that will get her to lean in for the kiss first instead of having to risk it all yourself. But first, as promised, you're going to learn the final two biggest mistakes that men make that ruin their chances with women. And as you probably remember, the first 5 on the list of the biggest mistakes that guys make with women are being needy, giving too much positive body language, not touching enough, buying time or attention, and creating an imaginary relationship. Now it's time to move on to the 6th mistake, and it's called being too cool for school. As guys, we make many massive assumptions about women. One of them is the assumption that we can hide what we're really feeling from them. But women are like human inauthenticity detectors. By that I mean they can basically smell your bullshit from a mile away. Acting too cool for school means you're acting like you're a confident guy, but women can tell that you're faking it. The real question, I think, is how can they tell? Well, it's pretty simple, really. I'm going to give you a pro tip here real quick to help you figure this out. What we see when we come across another guy who is a badass with women is a guy standing there being surrounded by women, right? That makes sense. So what do we think? We think, well, in order to be a badass with women, I have to be surrounded by them already. But the problem is that he didn't get those women to surround him by standing there, of course. I mean, he did some stuff. He did some behind-the-scenes work to sort of pique their interest that you didn't see. So naturally, we think, well, I'll just stand there and look cool, and every girl will want to come up and talk to me. But yeah, that doesn't really work very well. Instead, you end up looking like you're full of yourself, and women love to reject a guy who's full of himself. Nothing gives them any greater pleasure. So you'll have to know the right way to interact with women that will actually make them want you so badly that they compete with each other over you. And if you don't know that simple secret way to come across like a badass with women without hitting all of their your faker triggers, that's exactly what will happen. Women will actually compete with each other for your attention. I'll talk a little bit more about how to do that in a bit, but next is the sort of final of the biggest mistakes and the biggest mistake that men make that totally obliterates attraction and turns all women off immediately, and that is getting boring and stale. So let me explain this one because it's kind of vague. Now, women know they have options, and they're constantly looking for the best option for them. I mean, the problem is that most guys get into sort of a comfortable place where they feel like they have sort of enough options, which basically means 2 options. And then they stop improving and they stop learning how to be a badass with women. So naturally, another guy who is improving faster and is more driven shows up. And all of a sudden, she leaves the lazy guy for the new guy, because women are like talent scouts. They are constantly gauging how fast you are growing and how confident you are. And the more confident you are, the more attractive you are to women. So you have to make it sort of part of your life. It needs to be part of your identity. That you discover the secrets that lead to true confidence, and you constantly have new women chasing you. You have to be desired by women. And for most guys, that takes almost a lifetime and a ton of money in personal coaching and trial and error. But a select few guys find out how to sort of hack the attraction system, and they learn in just a few short minutes what it takes other guys years to grasp, because women are not attracted to the things that 99% of guys think they are. You can take me, for example. I'm short, I weigh 130 pounds when I'm soaking wet, I'm flat broke, and I completely suck at sports. But when it comes to attracting women, I am a complete badass, and here's why. I learned exactly what to say and do that subconsciously turns women on, and it bypasses their logical brains and speaks directly to their emotions. And I did it all without being tall, muscular, rich, or good at sports. Does that sound impossible? Well, let me prove it to you. I mean, this is me actually here on the Today Show. This is a great show, a great time being on the show. They interviewed me there because I had landed a show on Sirius XM Radio. It was the first show ever devoted to teaching guys how to be better with women, how to be the badass that gets the girl. And this is me on that Sirius XM Radio show. I had that for a couple of years, and I was the host. Interviewed a lot of really amazing people on there. This is me on my current TV piece. This piece here actually went on to become the #1 rated show on current TV for a long time. It was like maybe a year, month after month. It was the #1 rated, which was pretty exciting. I didn't really expect that to happen, but definitely was a bonus. And I've done tons and tons of other interviews and media and appearances as well. But why do so many people want to talk to me? Well, the reason why is because I learned a system to attracting beautiful women. And if I follow a few simple, easy rules, I could get just about any woman to be undeniably drawn toward me, to naturally want to kiss me, or to bypass her logical barriers and speak directly to her emotional brain, which is possible. And nobody was interested in talking to this guy. I was a complete loser with women. I mean, I was terrible. Women would actually hang out with me for a little while because they felt bad for me. I didn't know this at the time. And then they would leave me for some guy who was being a dickhead, like a jock, later on that night and go home with him. It was terrible for me then. But the only difference between this guy, the guy who was absolutely horrible with women, and this guy, the guy that women actually approach in bars, is that, well, I've obviously lost some hair since then, and also that this guy knows a few embarrassingly simple truths about what turns women on. Now, if you're afraid of being turned down, if you're afraid of ruining the friendship by trying to take things physical, or coming across like a pathetic puppy dog and missing your chance to be anything more than just friends with her, then the KISS technique will put those problems behind you. And you'll learn how to avoid one embarrassingly basic mistake that all of the other guys make with her, a 1, 2, 3 process to getting her to look at you and smile before you ever say a word. And you'll know the hidden psychology supported process that every woman goes through when she's attracted to a man, and how to take her down that path with you naturally and without saying something that will make you look like a jackass. But I should warn you, this information is not for everyone. If you're interested in manipulating women, if you want to memorize some scripts and fake your personality, if you never plan on putting the techniques I teach you to actual use, or if you just want to be average and you're not interested in mastering, as in being better than everyone you know at the art of attracting very beautiful women, then don't continue to watch this video. I want to make sure that this information only falls in the hands of guys who want to be badass with women. But I guess really the question is, what is a badass? Well, you can imagine this. Imagine you walk up to a crowded bar with a line down the street to get in. And you walk right past the line, and the bouncer looks up and sees you and says, "Hey man, come right in." So you walk in and you hear the dudes in line complaining about you getting in before them as you walk by. So as soon as you walk in the door, the cocktail waitresses all run up to you and say hello. They beg you to sit in their section and drink, and of course you're not going to disappoint them. So on your way to sit down, the DJ smiles and gives you a high five, and the done-up, sexy bartender chicks are all waving, and every single woman in the club is now staring at you and thinking, who is that guy? Now, believe it or not, this does not happen by chance. Badasses are treated this way because they've discovered just a few embarrassingly simple secrets about attracting women that make all women want them and all men want to be them. But being a badass with women isn't something that you're born with. Contrary to popular belief, being a badass with women is a learned skill. And I learned it, and you're going to learn it too. And there are many secret techniques to get women to turn their heads and flirt with you. And I'll teach you one of them now. It's called the kiss technique. It's a powerful, simple technique that will give you an instant boost in success with women, and you'll have your friends sort of begging you to teach them too. Over the years, I've seen pretty much every kind of problem that a guy can have with women. But there's one problem that every single guy I know has a problem with, and that is going in for the kiss. Now imagine you're on a date with a kind of beautiful woman that you don't get the opportunity to spend time with as much as you really like to. Everything seems to be going great. I mean, she's laughing at your jokes, she's smiling, she seems impressed by everything you do, and this is perfect. And then it happens. There's a pause in the conversation. You feel a sort of ominous cloud hanging over the two of you. She stops talking, and you know that if you don't go in for the kiss now, it's going to be too late, and she'll change her mind about you.